Hi, it's Jason Waters, and welcome to my Mortgage Minute. I'm excited to have Noelle Banks on the show with us today. Welcome, Noelle.
Hi, thank you.
So I know we've known each other for a while and worked on some transactions together. So I'm so excited you're on the show. So excited that you can share your vast knowledge with viewers in terms of what you and I do every day. That hopefully take some things that are complicated and break it down to understandable bits. So
Definitely.
first of all, tell us about yourself. Tell us about how long you've been in the business.
Yeah, so I'm technically an associate broker, operating as a realtor though, and my husband as well. So we're a husband-wife team, been in the business for 19 years, since 2002. And we are part of a real estate coaching, well, they're a coaching company, but primarily coach realtors. That's Buffini and Company out of California. And they teach us how to strategically build our business by referral. And so we work, 96% of our business comes to us by referral, as opposed to transactionally, and that's a big difference in kind of what we do. We
Yep.
love educating our clients, and so that they're in a good place when they go to start the buying process or selling process.
That's great, and that's one thing reasons I think we like to talk and work together. Is we're the same way. We're referral. I've never bought a lead. I never plan on buying a lead. It's just about relationships and doing the right thing, or as my daughter would say for Frozen, doing the next right thing, and then you get the next piece of business. So,
Yes. Yeah.
that's what it's about. So
Yeah.
let's dive into some topics here. You sent a few things over which I think are great and relevant for this market for us to I want to touch on. So one that you have is the question is, where are we going from here? Are prices going to go up, or are they going to go down? Is there a bubble going on? And I get that question all the time, and I frankly don't know the answer.
Yeah. Well, and of course, nobody has a crystal ball. But one of the things that we love about the coaching company we're part of is we get a lot of great information and training in a very timely manner. So they listen a lot to Dr. Lawrence Yun, who's the chief economist of NAR, which is National Association of Realtors, and he's one of the top 5 economists in the world. So he gives us a lot of great info. There's nothing that would point to prices going down. I think there's some people that have the concern of, well, with this change or that change, could the economy shift and go south a little bit? Well, I think that's possible. But I think what happened during the recession is the housing market led the economy into the recession. And in
Right.
this case, if there were to be an issue with the economy, it would be the housing market that leads us out of the recession,
Sure.
or a maybe not a recession, but a dip.
Yeah.
Um, and it's because there's a dramatic lack of inventory, as a lot of people have heard, and the builders simply cannot catch up overnight. Are they building, and are they building fast, as fast as they can get permits? Yes, absolutely. But it's going to take at least 2 to 3 years from those experts out there for them just to catch up to where they should be, not to get ahead, but just to catch up. So even if, maybe, unfortunately, some people lost jobs with the pandemic and all that kind of thing, and there could be a foreclosure, but with the prices going up, it's less likely. But some people with job loss and all that, I do not see this, based on everything I've learned and been exposed to, as prices going down. That would not be a educated thought track, if you ask me.
Right. Yeah. Because I do talk to clients sometimes that say, well, I want to wait a little while and see if prices come down. And I said, I don't know if that's the best idea. I do think rates are going to go up too, because inflation's going up, rates are going to go up. So let's say it even stays where it is, you're going to pay a lot more for the house if you keep waiting. So,
Yes, and I always tell people, there's no question this is a seller's market. And when we talk about that, a balanced market is when you have 6 months of inventory. We're looking at 1 to 2 months of inventory. So that's a very strong seller's market. So logic might say, well, then why would I want to buy it this time? Well, because real estate always goes up over time. Now, does it go up and maybe it hits down and up and down and sometimes a little lower, but
sure.
you can't go back to California right now like you could in the 60s and buy some little, bungalow for, a couple $100,000 or less.
Right.
That you're never going to see that again. So
Right.
over time, it always goes up. So really, the answer is it's always a good time to buy. And in particular, when the rates are low.
Exactly.
So And as you know, they're the lowest they've been in the 49-year recorded history, other than 2 months ago, maybe. But
Right.
you know,
Yeah, that was
over,
the lowest. Yeah.
yeah,
But they're actually kind of trending down again.
yeah.
So
Oh, good, good. Yeah,
I'm happy about it. Not complaining here.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, and I think another thing is the fundamentals of the market that led into a crash are not the same. That's not what's happening here. If there's a real estate bubble, I
Right.
mean, you have banks that are they're much better capitalized than they used to be. You have underwriting, and I know you have underwriting requirements that are much stricter than they were prior to the 2008 crash. So I don't see it being the same at all. So,
Exactly. Yeah. So, and I think that's why we have such a frenzy, because it's really an amazing time to buy because of the rates, and as well as an amazing time to sell. It's just a time to jump in.
yeah. So
Yeah.
what's causing this crazy market and low inventory? Why is this happening?
Yeah. Well, so first of all, the builders were kind of behind. And like I said, 2 to 3 years for them to catch up. The other thing is we have the way COVID has affected things with mass migration out of major cities into the suburbs. The whole concept of the tiny house is now out of style because people have to work from home. So they
Sure.
need office space, they need room. Now they're saying, instead of our cute little thing little place in the city, we need the suburbs, we need a yard, because we're both working from home, the kids might be online at school, and we need space. So
Yep.
that's why they're coming out. The other thing is 57% of the buyers out there right now are millennials. And millennials, so I think it's between age 18 and 34 are the making up that 57% right now. And so they've been at home for a while, they've been saving. So their first homes are tending to be a lot more than what previous generations would spend on a first home. But they're now having to go, okay, I've got to get out of my parents' house now. Number one, it's age time. And it's also, I've got to have space because I got to work from home. So
Yeah.
you have a huge population going, we're now ready. And so they're ready. The rates are low. The inventory is short. So you got high demand and low inventory. So I
Right.
tell people it's like toilet paper at the beginning of COVID.
Yeah.
It's prices aren't going to go down when everybody's demanding it. They've got
Yeah.
to have it,
So
right?
basically, it's basic economics. It's supply and
It
demand and
is.
driving the price up. So
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So we've covered that. We know it's a good. You and I agree. It's always a good time to buy real
Yeah.
estate. And if you're going to maybe not flipping a house, that might not be the best thing. I mean, maybe if you find the right deal, right? But like, if you're going to buy a home to live in, you're going to be there for a while. It's always the time to buy. If
Yeah.
our rates are low. So what's your advice to buyers? So we go to buyers and maybe sellers, buyers in navigating this market.
I would say get a good realtor. Part of the way you do that, interview a couple if you need to.
Sure.
But somebody shouldn't, the first thing they do is not run out and show you a house. The first thing they should do is sit down with you and talk about the buying process. And
Yeah.
you need an education on the process, not because you're not an educated person, but because you're just not doing it every day. Just like I'm an educated person, but I don't know everything about certain aspects that my doctor knows,
Mm-hmm.
because he or she is doing it every day.
Mm-hmm.
So that agent should educate you on the process, on the current market, and they should be really, really skilled at how to write a contract and appropriate stipulations. They should be taking contract courses every year, and a lot are not. The more attuned they are to that, the better they're going to be able to help you and guide you.
Right. When I meet with any professional, I mean, example, I'm doing adding a porch and had the architect and the structural engineer, and then I hear someone's expertise, and I'm thinking, wow, I'm glad we hired a structural engineer because I didn't know this could have happened and this could have happened,
Exactly.
which was kind of an option, somewhat optional kind of thing, depending on what permitting looks like. But it's same like I feel talking to you. It's like when you talk to a professional that knows what they're talking about, you're going to gain from that service. Like I see so many times where people try to do it yourself real estate agent. Like I just don't get it. I just don't. I don't understand on the buy side or the sell side. You provide a great service, and like when people watch this and they like, hey, she knows her business, right? She knows what's going on in the market. She's gonna know how to price a home to sell. She's gonna know how to help me negotiate to buy. And so, yeah,
Yeah.
agreed.
And I tell people too that that when they possibly consider for sale by owner or something, I mean, could they stick up a sign in their lawn and find a buyer themselves? I bet you anything they could. No problem. In this market, no problem. Are we there to help with that? Yes. But it's what happens after you find that buyer that you need
Sure.
a sales agent for.
Yeah.
How are we going to handle the contract? How do we handle repairs? What happens if something goes south? Who gets the earnest money and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
That's stuff that you need a professional hand. And a good negotiator is going to get you far more, and it's a proven statistic, far more for your home than trying to do it yourself.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you going to do when your appraisal doesn't come in because they offered 30,000 over asking price and
Right.
no comps that
Right.
figure that out.
Do they understand their rights? Do they really know what they can or can't do? Because if they're on their own and there's an agent on the other side, good chance that agent might know and you don't, and that might not be good.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
And I always have to say, as I'm sure you have to work with a good lender. Like, need to be pre-approved. You need to have all your documents in. You have to be ready to go. I have conversations every weekend with listing agents when I have the buyer and they're calling to find out, how qualified is this person? And I'm saying, they sent me everything in. They're pre-approved. I've run them through underwriting. I need a contract.
Yeah.
That's it. So.
Completely. And I always tell every buyer the very first step, other than maybe potentially meeting, is get pre-approved.
Yeah.
And no good listing agent in this market is going to even consider anything without a pre-approval letter.
No. Yeah.
And it's not just about that too, really, because if you jump into it without knowing, you think, well, maybe I can afford 300, and you jump into it and you kind of see a house and you didn't get the approval yet. And you look at it and you go, oh, I love this. This is great. Okay, we could do something like this. Now let me go get pre-approval. No, they might go get pre-approved and it's 250. And then they do a disservice to themselves, because now all they can think about is that 300 home that,
Right.
they loved, and nothing's going to be like it at 250.
Yep.
So it's just better to start, right from the start, get that pre-approval in place for sure.
Agreed. Well,
Yeah.
any final pieces of advice before we go?
I would just like to encourage people, just because even though it is a low inventory situation, but it doesn't mean there's nothing on the market. There are homes on the market and they're coming on over and over. It's just they're moving very, very, very quickly. So they're coming. There is hope, and people can find things. You just have to have a little patience. You have to have a good person representing you, and have your ducks in a row, and you can do well with it. And people always need food, clothing, and shelter. So real estate never goes out of style.
Yep.
So that's what I love about it.
That's great.
Yeah.
And it's better than being in the food or clothing business, for sure.
I agree. I agree.
Well, thank you so much. How can folks get in touch with you?
They can reach out to us. Our website is www.thebanksteam.com, or my phone is 404-388-3961, or Noelle, Noelle, at thebanksteam.com.
Awesome. And you can reach me at, you can call me anytime, 404-403-8787. My website, www.watersteam.co, or find me on Facebook, LinkedIn, connect with me there. Just look for Mortgage Minute with Jason Waters, and love to stay in touch. So until next time, stay safe, enjoy spring, and we'll be back.